Today we're learning the number 10. So let's go over our DLO and then I'll show you the number 10. We'll write it a couple times and then we'll talk more about our 10 frame. All right, let's get started. I'll go first. Today I will count to the number 10. Now it's your turn. Today I will count to the number 10. So here's our number 10. When we get to number 10, we have two digits here, two numerals. There's two different numbers. When we had 0 through 9, it was just one number all by itself. But now we're getting into the tens, and there are two different numbers together, no finger space in between, to show a new number. So this is the number 10. A number 10 is a 1 and a 0. When we write the number 10, you don't have to add the little hat and feet. You don't need to do that, but when you're on the computer and you type it, sometimes it shows up like that. You can write it like that, but it's a lot easier just to do straight line down and then you're done. That's the way you make a 1. Here's my blue. So let me show you how to write the number 10, and then you can practice it in your skill practice binder in the back where the numbers are. Watch me. The number 10 is easy. It's a 1 and a 0. Just like all numbers, they touch the sky and they touch the ground. That's a 10. I'll leave a finger space. I'll do it one more time. A 10 is a 1 and a 0. Easy? Yeah, that's easy because we already know 1, we already know 0. We're going to talk more about our 10 frame today. This is a 10 frame. When you look at a window or you look at a door, there's a frame around it. In the name, 10 frame, it tells us how many windows are here. How many windows are in a 10 frame? 10. Let's count. We always start at the top on the left, just like when we read and write. That's where we'll start with our counting. And when we fill in our 10 frames also, I've noticed a couple of you have been filling them in a little backwards, so we'll talk about that today. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 windows in a 10 frame. And guess what? You have 10 fingers. So when we add and subtract, always use our fingers because those are the best counters that we have attached to us. We can't lose them. All right, so now I'm going to erase, erase, erase. I'll keep my number 10 up over here just as a reference. But let's talk about our 10 frame here. In your book today, you're going to be counting objects and filling in the 10 frame. It's important that you don't miscount or miss any objects, so I'll show you a couple strategies that you can use in your book to make sure that you don't forget any of your objects. And we've got our little kid here. His name is Jackson, and he's at the pond counting different animals at the pond. So there's ducks, ducklings, and then on the other side there are birds. You're going to be counting and filling in the 10 frame. Not every single one will be 10, so we have to make sure we count every object. So watch me. I'm going to draw different objects because in your book, and I'll show you a couple different strategies. Crossing out strategy is a good one to use so that you don't forget to count some of them or you don't count them twice. And I'll show you another strategy that some of my students are using also. Okay, so let me just draw my cookies because those are the fastest, easiest ways for me to draw things on the board and cross them out. Because if I sat here all day drawing ducks, we'd be here a while. All right, so I'm going to draw my objects. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. One strategy to count all of our objects is to cross them out. We've used that one before, and it's a good one. It's one of my favorites. Watch me. Count with me. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And if I don't want to forget how many I crossed out, I can write the number down below, 10. A 1 and a 0. Then I will fill it in on my 10 frame. The way I want you to do it on your 10 frame is just draw circles. Well, let me double check because in yours it's small enough you can color them in. Yeah, your 10 frames are small enough where you could color in each square. If they were bigger, I would say just draw circles. So it's your choice if you want to draw circles or color in the whole square. You just have to make sure you color in the correct amount. So we counted 10, so watch me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go to the next line. What some of you are doing, what I've noticed that some of you have done, especially in class, is you're counting your 10 frame like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't go up and down, because when we look at items that we're counting, we use our sense of sight to count objects that we don't even need to count. So if I were to just see this frame here, now I got distracted. When I see this 10 frame, I already know it's a 10 frame and I know it's filled in, so I know it's 10. I don't have to count because automatically right away my brain just tells me that's a 10 frame, there's 10 windows. I don't have to sit and count, oh, that's a frame, I better count how many, and then count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if you're coloring in like this, I can tell that's 4, except it's not the proper way. When we read and write our sentences, I don't say, I like to go to the park. That doesn't make any sense, because if I were to read my sentences from left to right, it would say, I to park like go the. Does that make sense? Not at all. So just like a sentence, we have to fill in our 10 frame from left to right. When we get to the end, we go to the next line. This, what does Miss Hickok say? She says, return sweep. That's why we don't do it that way. So let me start again, because it's important to explain things. So I counted 10, I wrote it so I didn't forget, and I'm going to fill in the 10 frame. Count with me. I'll draw circles like you guys. Count with me. Ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I filled in my 10 frame from left to right, and I went to the next line to fill it in. Let me show you another strategy of how to count all of your objects, because last week we were working with the numbers 6 through 9, which are less, not as many as 10. So let me draw 10 more circles. I'll show you another strategy you can use to make sure you don't miss any of your ducks and ducklings and birds today. So if I have my circles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you could do the connecting, like connect the dots. Watch me. I'll start on the left at the top so that I know that I'm consistent, so I'm doing it the same way every single time. I don't ever want to start in the middle, because then it gets mixed up and you'll forget different items that you're counting. Watch me. Start with the first one you want to start with. I'm going to start at the top on the left with my first one, and I'm going to connect the dots. Watch me. I could do it like this. I could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's one way to do it. So I could just count each dot that I touch, starting with my first one, ending with my last one. Another way, and it'll be easier to do this, one way that my students are doing it in class, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Another way that they're connecting them is zigzagging. Watch me. Start at the top one. I have to count with my first one as number 1. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You could use a zigzag method also. So whichever way you decide to count your ducks or ducklings today, or any object that you count in the future, pick your strategy that you're the best at. Because if you pick one that you're not so good at and then you start missing dots, that's not going to help you. So strategies, there's lots of different ones out there. Pick the best one for you. Like I said, my favorite strategy is cross off one at a time, and I'll do that one in green. So watch me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I like my way of crossing out because I started on the left, I went all the way to the right, and then I went back to where I found it. But there's lots of different ways to do to cross off and mark off, but I want you to pick the way that you want to. After you've crossed off or zigzagged and counted all of your objects, you're going to fill it in the 10 frame. So let's just do a couple more. Let's count them. I'm going to use my favorite strategy of crossing off.
Lisa, I need to scan your iPads again. The one
Okay. Can you wait 1 minute? I'm almost done. I'll do the strategy that I like to use, which is crossing off. So count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I only have 9 here, but I don't want to forget how many I counted, so let's write the number. Make a loop and then a line. That's the way you make a 9. Let's fill it in. Start at the top on the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I know that it's a 10 frame because we have 10 windows. When I see that I'm missing a window that's empty, I know that 10, take away 1, which would be that window right there. I have 9 left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's why it's important to fill in your 10 frame the proper way so that when you start seeing missing windows, you can automatically say, that's 9. Or, how about this way? That's 5, because half of 10 is 5. If I had 10, take 5 away, 5 left. Let's do one more, and then it'll be your turn. Because I know you guys are math experts. Let's just do one more, and it'll be your turn. Count the objects, draw them in here. Your challenge question today has a blank spot where you get to pick if you're going to draw 9 or 10 objects and then fill it in. Really easy, but it's your choice. And that's your challenge today. Let's do one more. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to use the connect the dot method this time. Count with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I counted 9 again. Now I'll fill in my 10 frame. Oh, I have 9. I want to not forget what number I counted, so I'll write the number 9. Make a loop and then a line. That's the way you make a 9. Count with me to fill it in. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now it'll be your turn to get your book out. Volume 1, page 109. You'll start on the ducky page first, follow the directions, and then moving forward you will count the objects, fill in the 10 frame. Count the objects, fill in the 10 frame. Pick a method, crossing out, connecting. With these ones being more scattered, crossing out will be easier. The birds on this side, you might want to try something like that because they're in a row, but the ducks and the ducklings on the page before are more scattered. So I would use the crossing out method here, and if you want to try the other kind on the next side, give it a try because it's nice to try a couple different strategies. Alright, so now it's your turn to count to the number 10 and fill it in on a 10 frame.